This is Stacia, and I'm going to share a game that I played on chess.com. This was a 1510 standard game, and the theme for this one is winning a one game. So I'll show you how I basically got a really nice position out of the opening, and I believe my opponent even blundered. I haven't analyzed yet, but I'm pretty sure they blundered. And I was up a piece for 2 pawns, but I almost didn't win this game because it was challenging for me to figure out how to proceed. So we're going to especially look at that on how to win a one game and how to proceed. Okay, so I opened with the move e4, best by test, and he played d6, and this is the perk defense, or some people call it the Pierce defense, I think is the proper term. This allows the move d4, establishing the pawn duo in the center, and he played knight f6. This is a normal move. I played knight c3, also normal, and g6. Okay, and so I want to comment on this part of the opening because one thing I find interesting is I think f4 is a good move. This is called the Austrian attack, and this is what I play in the game. There's also the move bishop e3 that I'm considering for the future. I saw Stepien from Hanging Pawns play this line, and basically white establishes a setup with f3, knight g to e2, g4, and knight to g3, and white can attack. So it's pretty interesting. I'm not even sure if white castles, but probably can castle on the queen side. Okay, but that's a line I'm considering for the future. I'm not someone that would play that without looking at it, at least for like 15 minutes, you know? Okay, but I'm aware of it, and now you are. So bishop g7, and I played, oh wait, I'm still on my sideline. Yeah, in the game, f4 was played. Okay, there we go. f4. Now I think the threat of e5 is, kind of annoying for black. But I don't play that as black, so I don't know for sure. Okay, bishop g7, knight f3. And we're still in the Austrian attack main line. And now bishop g4 was played. I've seen this before in a blitz game, and I remember analyzing that game. And bishop g4 was inaccurate, maybe a mistake. So in my analysis back then, I knew that h3 becomes a good move because black will, at best, concede the bishop pair. And if they try to retreat the bishop, g4 would win it right away. And if they have to retreat it back, then that just gives me free moves on the king side where maybe I'm going to be attacking. Now, he hasn't committed his king, but it looks like he wants to castle kingside to me. He's still 3 moves away from castling on the queen side. But okay. Then I think white just has a really nice center. So I played bishop e3. This is a move. I think you can play this. I thought I'd develop a piece before I played something like h3. Also, my knight's guarding this pawn, and if the queen moves away to recapture, I thought this pawn might be loose. So a little bit cautious on my part. Computer actually likes h3 right away, and it says there's no problem with that pawn because the knight has nowhere to go to do a discovery on the pawn. Like if knight h5, then g4 wins, the knight is trapped. And if knight here, this is probably the best move, looking to play a quick c5, then I forget the line. Let's see. Yeah, I think I can play e5 right away here. And again, this pawn's still not under pressure. So pretty interesting. So bishop e3, a little cautious, but I'm not upset that I played that move. I think that's totally fine. Yeah, and now this is probably just a mistake. He's probably going for the b5, b4 plan. This is something I've seen a lot in the Pierts. Funny I say a lot, I've only been playing e4 since the start of this year, but I am getting familiar with this, I guess. Okay, and here I think I found the best move, e5. Or no, I'm sorry, I thought e5. h3 first. Now he should probably take. Computer is recommending bishop c8, by the way. Not something you want to play. Okay, he took, queen takes, knight out, e5. Yeah, so I played on principle here. My other candidate move was castling queenside. I thought e5, castling queenside, even bishop d3 is a candidate move, but I think this position calls for action. It just looks like I'm one move away from castling, and I've got an initiative on the king side. I'm not far away from playing things like g4, g5, f5, e5, and he wasn't yet committed. So I went ahead with this pawn break, e5. Turns out this is the strongest move. So now you're seeing how I won the game, but winning a one game, that's something I'm not as good at. So we're definitely going to take a closer look at that. Okay, so e5, and he took. I guess that's okay. Maybe knight d7 is better, but we'll look at this. Now, interestingly enough, I took with the f-pawn, but taking with the d-pawn is actually stronger, okay, because after this, the problem is that the knight doesn't have anywhere to go. If here, we take it. If here, we take it. If here, yeah, same thing. If here, we trap it with g4. And if knight d7, that blocks the queen, and I can castle queenside, pinning the knight to the queen, and white would have a huge advantage there. So I missed the fact that the knight would be so awkward after this move. Yeah, and I'll show what I mean. So here, knight d7 is the best move, and castle queenside. Yeah, e6, and the computer is giving +3 for white. Oops. Yeah, it just feels like white's very good here, doesn't it? If black castles queenside, we're already ready to attack. And if they don't, then we just have an awesome center and we're going to be really active. Yeah, I don't know. I really like white here. But back to the game. So I took the other way. So not recommended, but certainly white's still better here. Yeah, and now the blunder. I'm pretty sure he shouldn't take here. I was expecting knight d7. Is there a problem with this I wasn't aware of? Knight d7, e6 looks pretty brutal. Maybe even bishop c4 is an idea. I mean, we're really starting to pound away on the f7. Yeah, the best move is knight b4, the computer says. Oh, okay. So a tempo move. I have to imagine I'd castle queenside here. This is actually better to take and allow the check. Wow. So the computer's crazy. It likes doing stuff like this. What, it's going to sack the rook? Yeah, king d2 is the move. That's funny. I would play king f2, I think. But king d2 is what the computer gives. Let's look at this. I like to at least look at ideas like this. Now if he takes the pawn with the bishop, I'm assuming I'll take the knight. And if the knight takes here, which he should, computer actually thinks knight takes d4 is better. Oh, knight takes d4. That sure is interesting. Okay, let's look at that for a second. Now I'm assuming, I mean, he's on my queen and he's threatening discoveries, right? So this is pretty uncomfortable. I have to go queen e4, allowing discoveries, I guess, but threatening mate. Okay, this line's crazy. I'm not gonna spend time on that, but this is stuff that, you know, when I have a lesson with I am Calvin Blocker, he sees stuff like that too. He's like a freaking computer. I swear he is. And he'll show me variations like that, and I'll just be like, wow, I don't understand chess at all. But I'm getting there. Okay, so he took on d4. This looks crazy, doesn't it? I think it's just a blunder. Computer actually likes this move. Okay, I'm kind of surprised by that. So knight takes d4, I thought was a mistake during the game. I really did. Now, it's a little bit tricky. Okay, like if I take the knight with my bishop, he takes, and then I take here. This is the way I went in the game. I thought it was best. Notice I can't really castle queenside because he would take my queen, and then rook takes here, pawn takes. I'm not sure that's good for me necessarily. And if I take here, he'll take my queen. He's definitely on my queen right now. So I thought bishop takes d4 was best. Computer's giving queen f2. That's very interesting to me, to calmly move the queen away in this position. But I guess that's with the threat of taking the knight. Then we're threatening this and this. So very interesting. And also queen d1 is a move. Queen d1. I can't imagine playing that move. I want to castle queenside. So I played the third best move, which is to take. Okay, I'm losing the bishop pair. But after queen takes d4, I couldn't find anything wrong with taking here. Yeah, computer agrees white's better. A lot better. So, yeah, he threw in this check. I'm not sure that does anything. I saw he would have this check. But why not bishop e2? Or why not even block with the queen? Maybe even queen e4. No, not queen e4 because of queen g3 check. But, yeah, this check, I thought bishop e2. Yeah, and now he takes. So, okay. So we're at the point of the game where it's a one game, in my opinion. White has a minor piece for 2 pawns, but that should be enough to win. But, you know, black does have more pawns. They have 2 more pawns, so I have to be careful not to enter some endgames where those 2 pawns become an issue. So I tried to play very straightforward and cautiously. So let's see how this worked out. Okay, I castled queenside, or kingside. First of all, is that the right move? I could have gone queenside, but I thought he has pressure on my queenside. And he could even take this knight, and maybe my king is not that safe. And I thought, why allow that? So I went kingside. Computer agrees with this move. And now I think black just needs to try and cause problems for me. They should finish development and castle like that. Yeah, and I brought my rook to the open file. Okay. c6. Keeping the knight out, I think, seems reasonable. I played king h1. Grandmaster move, always play king h1. And rook over. Okay. So I thought about trading here. I think trading down is generally good for me because my minor piece will be more effective. But I didn't do that. I played rook d3. Let's see what the computer says about that. My idea was to force him to trade on my terms. I thought if he took my rook, I might just play bishop takes e3, or maybe, you know, even queen takes e3 looks appealing. Computer likes to move a3. Okay. I didn't consider a3. So what's the idea there? I did consider a3. I remember I was a little concerned about this plan. b5, b4. My knight doesn't have like a home. He's kind of homeless right now, and he's blocking my c pawn. So yeah, that's pretty much the only problem I have to solve. But okay, he did take there. I don't think he should take. I think he should avoid trades. I took with the queen, And the reason I took with the queen is that there's no rook d8. I'm actually stopping that move. And I'm going to bring my rook behind, was my plan. Yeah, now offering a trade. So I don't agree with this approach by my opponent. But on the other hand, taking looked iffy to me because queen takes, bishop takes. Well, let's go ahead and look at it. If I take, my knight is still pinned to my b-pawn. Note that even though I'm up a piece, if he wins a third pawn, that's adequate compensation for a piece. 3 pawns like that. So I don't want to allow that, you know? And in this position, I thought if I attack the rook or attack the bishop, I thought he could go c5. Yeah, computer likes e5 even. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I like e5 quite a bit. He should push his kingside majority because he has a passed pawn. So maybe you can see what I mean about winning a one game. Not so easy. There's still ideas for my opponent, and if I slip up even a little, I could lose, or it could be a draw. Okay, but let's go back. So yeah, I'm kind of proud of myself that I didn't trade queens just because that's kind of my default move. Although I guess I do have a habit of not trading when I should trade also because I'm so paranoid about that. But I like rook d1. My idea was simple. I'm going to control the open file and maybe infiltrate, and maybe that will be enough to win. Queen b6, I expected this, or queen b4 because this pawn is still an issue and my knight's pinned to it. But here I just played b3. I think it's totally fine. My knight is defended. Okay, and he went e6. And now I went knight e4. I like this move. I was hoping for bishop e7 because I figured he wants to play rook d1, or rook d8 rather. But then I have the move queen e4 threatening a check. So, and that check could be deadly because he'll have to trade. If he doesn't trade, I'm going to maybe checkmate him. I don't know. It looks scary though. So this happened, queen e4. Now this kind of forces a trade on my terms. I don't think he can afford to do this. He did it anyway, and I did check him. Computer likes this. Okay. Yeah, and the computer's saying I'm +3. Okay, I didn't know it was that much. I thought it was probably plus 1.5. But yeah, computer is pretty confident about this position. So now he has to take. You know, if he moves his king, I have discovered check winning the queen. So he would have to go here, and then I win the queen. So he can't do that. So this pretty much forces the trade. There we go. And now queen takes bishop. Of course, I wish I had a dark square bishop, you know. And now he went c5. I like this move. My next move is going to be queen d4, re-centralizing and maintaining control of the d file. I went queen c3. Okay, so we've reached that point of the game where I started to not know what to do. And I have a bad habit of not knowing what to do in major piece endings, even winning ones, or especially winning ones. And I get in time pressure and sometimes blunder, contributing to my low rating. So let's look at the proper way to continue here. Here the computer likes a4. Interesting. I like the move a4. It wants to stop b5. It's also eliminating this weakness. So the only weak pawn will be c2. And guess what? I have a light square bishop. So that's nice. I played queen here instead, looking to seize the d file this way with queen d3. Okay, he pushed. And now I went queen d3 according to my plan. Computer liked a3, by the way. Stopping this, I guess. But I think my plan's fine. Queen e5. Now I think he's trying to go after my a pawn. Yeah. And I went a4. Okay. So I think white wants to trade pawns off. The more pawns I trade off, the more powerful my bishop becomes. If black doesn't have their pawns, then they don't really have anything at all. They'll just be completely lost. In fact, most people would say they're lost anyway. So I liked a4. Computer is now suggesting c4. I thought that's what he would play, actually. But he took, and I took. And now I do have a weak a pawn. But I have an extra bishop, so who cares? Okay, so he played a5. Yeah, and here, okay. So the plan I came up with here is I'm like, I really want my bishop on b5. That looks nice. It would stop this c push, and my bishop will be strong over here. It'll be hard for him to defend the a pawn. I don't know. I thought this was okay. Computer likes queen d2, just attacking the pawn right away. I thought if queen d2 he would push. Oh, then I take. Okay, I missed that, I guess. So queen d2, not bad. Instead, I went to f3, and my computer's going to die soon. So I probably should hurry it up. Okay, I will. Yeah, rook b8, seeking counterplay. Probably one thing that I should have noticed more during the game is that, okay, black should probably play this way. He needs to be active, but this does undefend the f pawn, which is a weakness. And I'm not far away from attacking it, you know, like this kind of stuff. I mean, even bishop here is going to be possible. But okay, I proceed with my plan, and he brought his rook in. I thought about c3 right here. I don't know, though. c3, rook d4, queen c2. Takes. He would win the c pawn. So I decided to play the computer's idea, queen d8 check. I'm going to go win the a pawn. I figured I might be trading pawns, but this is okay. Queen c3. Yeah. And now I felt a little nervous. He's threatening my pawn. After that, my rook's hanging. My bishop's hanging right now. My queen's out of the game. So I don't like my position, except I have an extra bishop, so I love my position. Okay. And here, okay, my apologies. Had to go get my computer cord. Yeah, so I find this position interesting because what would you play here as white? Well, it's true that a lot of moves are winning for white here. I played the move queen d8. Computer calls this a blunder. Now, white is still +4, so I don't call it a blunder. I call it a little bit inaccurate. But my idea was just to coordinate. I'm going to give up this pawn. Maybe that's a bad idea. Computer instead has the interesting move queen c7. And the idea is that we're going to go after the f pawn. We're going to play rook f1. We might even play bishop e8. Notice that this also pins the pawn, so he can't move it forward, and probably this counterplay is a little too much for black. If they take the pawn now, I think we can play rook f1 right away. Yeah, this is +10 for white. So I guess the question is, how do they defend that f pawn? So I was worried about my king being by himself, but in this position, I don't think this can be defended. Computer gives queen f5. Okay, yeah, you want to play that? Yeah, so basically this plan is undefendable, meaning he can't take the c pawn. If he can't take the c pawn, then he probably needs to go defend that somehow. Computer gives e5. Why would I? What? Oh, e5 with the idea of rook f4. Now if I go here, yeah, the idea is rook f4. But this trade is going to be really beneficial for us. Now the pawns are doubled. And I'm pretty sure I have bishop e8. Yeah, so the extra piece is just way too much here. Way too much. So, okay, but in the game I played queen d8, and I gave up this pawn. And I reached a point where I thought it might be a draw. So we're going to look at that, see what we can learn from it. Okay, this is what I call a Stacia move. This is when I get scared and I start playing silly moves like this. So queen d3, offering a trade, but perhaps shoving his queen to a better location. A better move here is a5 right away. You know, I have a passed pawn. I should probably push it. Rook f1's still good. Yeah, but I played this, and he went queen b2, allowing him to coordinate a little bit. He's ready to play c4. Okay, I played bishop b5, just getting my bishop defended. Now, I was pretty low on time here. I want to say under 3 minutes. So, not trying to play precisely, just trying to play well enough to win the game. And after rook d4, I think this was probably a blunder. It's a blunder in my opinion because it kind of forces a trade. After rook d4, I could play queen b1. And now everything's attacking everything. So it looks like there would be trades. He went here, but now I could take. Okay, still interesting though, because, you know, I have a bishop, but he does have 2 connected pass pawns. So I have to make sure not to lose. He checked, king up, queen here, and now I pushed a5, and he pushed e5. Yeah, and here I played a6 with the idea that if he plays e4, I'm going to take it. Now, I'm happy to see that the computer agrees with this way of playing, although it felt really risky to me, because I'm basically sacrificing my bishop. So I'm taking here, he takes here, but the key point is that I have check, and after the king moves away, I can actually play a7. And now black has to stop that. So he went queen b7. He could also go behind it, maybe queen a5 or something like that. But now I want to play queen b8. That's what I want to play. So notice I do have a nice check. So queen f4 check. The king can move back or whatever. Actually, I think what did he do in the game? Something different? No, he went king g7. Hang on a second, am I not remembering this right? Oh, I played here instead of queen f4. I like queen f4 better. A lot better, but this is still okay. So check, and now I'm going there. And I think this is just one now. Black has no way to stop the threat of a8 equals queen. And otherwise I'm going to take his queen. So my opponent did resign in this position. And I'm happy to see that I didn't play as badly as I thought I might have, but I was taking a little too much time to execute that win. So let's go back and look at the highlights of this game. Okay, so here we had a perk defense Austrian attack. Bishop g4. Yeah, don't play that if you're black. I don't think that's a good move. You're just encouraging h3 g4 stuff, which white wants to play later anyways. I don't think that's a good move. Yeah, and giving up the bishop pair and helping me develop my queen, I don't think any of this is positive for black. And here I played e5. So my first mistake of the game, I think, is failing to take with the d-pawn. This is stronger than I thought just because the knight really doesn't have anywhere good to go. So, okay, but I took this way. Yeah, and this whole thing didn't work out for black. So now I think he's losing, but the theme of this lesson is winning a one game. So how do we win a one game? Well, we play safe, we develop, we seize the only open file. I think all of this was good. This all worked out nicely. King h1. I love moves like that because king h1 is something I don't always do, but we're preventing black from getting in a check at the wrong moment. And this makes my king safe forever. So, okay. I like rook d3, never trade. It's totally fine to take the rook too. Yeah, and probably here I should trade queens. But I think rook d1 is good. I think queen b6 is actually a mistake, allowing b3. I don't think that's necessarily a good move. I actually thought queen b4 was more testing because then if b3, queen takes knight. Okay, knight comes out, bishop there. I like the way I played this part. Queen d4 I think is an excellent move. Now I'm forcing the trade. Otherwise he loses his queen. Maybe now I start to get a little bit iffy. Queen c3, that's probably okay. So the move a3 here, called for by the computer, just stopping this, that makes a lot of sense. But I took the file, also okay. Now his queen is centralized on e5. I thought he was going for queen b2, so I went ahead and pushed my a pawn. He took and took. The downside is I have a weak a pawn now, as well as a weak c pawn. Yeah, and this plan I think was wrong. So here I should have just played more simple. Just attack the pawn right away. Just attack the pawn right away. He cannot play c4. And I am curious though, if queen d2, I'm still not threatening to take because of queen takes bishop. So what did the computer have in mind here? I mean, can't he play something like rook b8 and just get active? The computer wants me to play bishop b5. Oh, this move. So it must have liked my idea to go there. Okay, and now I understand the computer found a better way to execute my plan. I wanted the bishop there, but I took the long route. So this is just too slow. Queen d2 actually prepares this, and it attacks the pawn. So I like that a lot, and it keeps this pawn defended, so way better. So yeah, I should look for moves that do things and coordinate in the future. But okay, it went like this. Well, I went even slower than I thought. Okay, and here I think grabbing the pawn was really risky. I don't think it's necessary. Of course, the computer likes this because computers don't care if things are risky. But here I felt weird. Yeah, queen d8. This wasn't the cleanest conversion I've ever seen, but it was good enough. Yeah, bishop there and rook here. So I actually think my opponent could have kept the pressure on me better if they didn't allow this these trades. Although I was nervous about yeah, so This little plan of mine I thought was iffy during the game. Turns out it's 100% correct to sack my bishop. And then the problem is I'm going to queen my pawn. Yeah. Okay. Queen b8. Okay, so I didn't do as bad as I thought. I hope that you enjoyed this game and enjoyed the analysis. If you would, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe to my videos. I do have plans to ramp up things. It's been a long time coming, but I do have plans in the works, so I'll be sharing things. I'm kind of waiting to get my rating back up a little bit before I really market my content more. But I am back on my way. This win brought me back to 1541 on chess.com, but I'm pretty confident that I can get to 1650 without too much trouble. And then I've never broke 1700 on here, so I'm definitely going to be making a run for that. So wish me luck. I study chess daily still. Don't think that I've stepped away from chess, because I have not. I've been, despite my rating crash the last few months, I've been taking a lot of steps towards improving my game in more long-term ways, which has meant stepping out of my comfort zone a huge amount, which, has led to losing some games. But I think overall, I feel like I am improving. I guess we'll only know in time if that's true. So thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye.